welcome to Mornings with Michael. Not always in the morning, and it is a little after 4 here, 4:22 on the West Coast. I'm sure it's morning somewhere. So we'll get started. Mornings with Michael is for information and educational purposes only. And one of the books that should be on the shelf, I'm looking for it right now, is How to Make Money in Stocks. Let's see how I can, there we go. How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. I believe David Ryan took part in this as well. So that's one of the best books you'll ever read. And let's get started. First, I'm going to share a screen with our heat map, or chill map as it is today. Some of us are expecting a pause in this recent run up. It had 9-10 days up in a row. And we got pause over here. Microsoft, Oracle's up, NVIDIA is up, Google, Meta, they're pretty flat. Apple is down, Microsoft is down, Amazon is down, and Tesla is up a little over 4%. We got some healthcare that's up, energy is bouncing. So there we go. Utilities are down. We'll take a look at the market indexes in a little bit. And then we'll share the screen. I think a lot of people, maybe up to 90%, should have a big chunk of their money in an annuity. Why? Because in an annuity, you'll never lose money. Your 401k will not turn into a 201k. With index investing, you can indeed lose money. And with this world we're coming to, where it goes next, we don't know. Annuity average beats index investing by about 5%. Healthy figure right now. Some annuities are giving bonuses of 40 to 45%. So if you want to find out more, please message us. And let's go to another screen here. Before we get started, taking a look at everything. I really like this. The setup here looks like a shelf pattern that has more of the blue spikes than ever. I had showcased this back it was over here. And then it proceeded to go down. I said it was going to resolve its way one way or the other. It resolved its way down. And CEO started buying a number of stocks in September. I'm not sure if that's what's leading to this, but it looks good so far. At one point, it was 160. And then I'm going to take a look at our other one I profiled. Just look what looks good when investing in a stock. Look at all these blue bars as it was proceeding up. This was 5 days after we profiled it on the show, after having a tight shelf-like pattern. Said it was going to resolve its way either up or down. Couldn't tell which way. But it resolved its way up. And I was happy to have bought some shares and got a 50% gain. And then it went into consolidation. When a big run up like this, you often get a consolidation. People selling. Didn't have that big of a down. It was a consolidation stage 1. And what happened during the consolidation? Initially, there were some high spikes of selling, but overall, it was pretty low, below the average. And what happened when it started going up again? Blue spikes and above average volume. So there were some red spikes, but it stayed within this range. So we think this is still people buying in this area. It sells off during the day and it comes right back in the end. This is positive. So without further ado, let's take a look at our dollar index. It's kind of basing, it looks like. had a pullback, bounce back. Had a little sell-off today, closed down, but not much, 0.13%. Gold bounced a little bit with the dollar pulling back. Although gold, when the dollar was pulling back, it wasn't really acting in it what you would expect. And silver had a big bounce today, and a sell-off, a gap over here, so it's filled that gap. Now we have another gap over here. We'll see if it can fill it on the upside. Really positive than silver. Our Canadian copper miner, I'm not sure if it's hit bottom yet, at a negative 25% earnings. So that's not going to do it wonders. We do have a gap over here. We'll see if it can fill that gap. Southern Copper looks like it's kind of basing, but it's under all of its moving averages. And Freeport McMoran is also under all of its moving averages. Take a look at what our bond yields did today. They jumped up to their 20-day moving average and then pulled back strongly from there. So it remains in this pretty flat area, which is good for the markets. See what our VIX is doing. VIX is pulled back here. Got a little gap up here. You know, that's eventually going to fill. We just can't say when. Just kind of see where. Got this other gap. I'm not sure. I think I'm hitting the wrong key. There we go. Got this other gap right down here. We'll see if it comes down to fill that. Although it did look like it has already filled this, so if it doesn't, that'll be the case. I think eventually it's going to pop up above the 200-day moving average. Take a look at the S&P. Had a slight pullback. Not really the pause or pullback we're looking for, but see where it goes from here. Equal weighted S&P 500, pretty flat. Did pull back a little bit and then bounce back. Our NASDAQ got a slight pullback, 0.3%. Slight pullback in the equal weighted one. IWM, our small caps actually bouncing up. On pullback, and I believe on the candlesticks, this was a inverse hammer pattern. When it hits a low, that's kind of projecting that it's going to go up. Dow Jones bounced up again today, and I believe this was a hanging man pattern, which was projecting downward pattern. So we'll just have to see if that comes true. So let's now move on to our news of the day. American Association of Study the Liver Disease annual liver meeting, 10th through the 14th in Boston. Edison Electric Institute Conference, 11/12 to 11/14 in Phoenix. And Real Estate Investment Trust World, 11/13 to 11/15 in Los Angeles. The Piper 2023 Life Insurance Tour virtual, 11/13. And Stevens Annual Investment Conference, 11/13 to 11/16 in Nashville. On to world news, Moody's Investor Service late Friday cut its outlook for the U.S. sovereign credit rating to negative from stable, citing higher interest rates and doubts about government's ability to implement effective fiscal policies. Hear that, our representatives? Moody's continues to rate U.S. sovereign debt AAA, the only one of the three major credit rating companies to maintain a AAA rating. The United States conducted a new round of airstrikes against facilities used by Iran in its proxies in eastern Syria late Sunday in retaliation for a spate of recent attacks against American troops, Pentagon officials said on Sunday, according to the New York Times. Okay, now we're on to Copart. And our consumer business mentioned positively in Barron, saying, although shares have jumped more than 50% this year, got a nice double bottom going here, thanks to a string of optimistic earnings reports and an increase in sales volumes, it's expected to keep growing. And Copart, this is actually Copart. So I'm not sure what chart we are looking at, so I apologize. Don't have really a double bottom here, but it did bounce into its buy zone. So 14% earnings growth in 2024 and 13 in 2025. Got some nice blue volumes here, earnings in 3 days. So we'll have to see what happens on earnings day. Boeing is closing in on a major order for its 777X wide body model from Emirates, already the biggest buyer of the wide body aircraft. Emirates is poised to order high double digits number of 77X. Wonder if Boeing got the authorization from Elon to use that X. So with that, Boeing stock is gapping up. Huge volume here. Huge gap up. 737 MAX aircraft when U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping meet. So China is contemplating resuming purchases of the Boeing 737 MAX. So Air Lease announced long-term lease contracts from 18 new Boeing BA 737-8 aircrafts with Egypt Air. It doesn't look like it's done much for the stock today. These new Boeing aircrafts are confirmed to deliver the airline beginning 2025 through 2026 in LLC's order book with Boeing. On to healthcare. Henry Schein, Q3 adjusted EPS $1.32 with revenues at $3.2 billion, both in line with consensus, but lowered its full year guidance to reflect a slowing economy. Wow, market really loved that. Earnings came up at 2%, $1.31 versus $1.29 last time. Huge volume the last few days. So CalVista Pharmaceuticals provided clinical trial and regulatory updates for its lead program, sebetralstat, in development as potential oral on-demand therapy for hereditary angioedema. And their stock did nothing for the stock as it fell down. Novo Nordisk obesity drug, Wegovy, notably cut the link for heart attacks in landmark cardiovascular trial that affirms the treatment offers health benefits beyond weight loss. Didn't necessarily move up, but it looks like it's building a shelf pattern right here. You know how much I like these shelf patterns, and it's possible on a downdraft to build the gap here. So it closed near its high. That's bullish or positive. Verve Therapeutics said that the first 10 people to receive one-time treatment powered by a form of CRISPR called base editing showed reductions in bad cholesterol levels. Studies result that are preliminary but signal the potential for gene editing treatments to benefit people with inherited type of cardiovascular disease. Well, the stock plummeted today. I'm not sure if it's on that news, but That's not a good sign. And finally, in technology, media, and telecom, Hewlett Packard was upgraded to buy for neutral at Citigroup, predicated on continued improvements in PC ecosystem with inventory digestion completed, with potential for AI on PCs to drive higher revenue in outer years. Number two, significant cost takeout, which is believes is supportive of margins and earnings recovery ahead. And finally, number three, undemanding valuations and potentials for higher FCF generation to drive higher buybacks. And finally, on to Mobileye Global, mentioned positively in Barron, saying it had one of the few successful initial public offerings of the past 18 months after returning to the public market last year at $21 a share. Stock is now $37, and the market liked this news. The autonomous driving systems company could continue to have great momentum. And we'll see about that. So it looks like it's working on a double bottom here. Down to here. Here's our middle. Here's the low. Not sure why my pen does. There we go. So it needs to get to 42.57. We'll see if it can get there. And you might want to buy before then. Early buy might be today. Today or tomorrow, what have you, if you're an aggressive trader. So that's what we have there. And now let's see if we can bring up some of our ETFs. Got a couple of new ETFs I'm going to bring up. Might want to look at. First one is the FANGs. They're getting close to a breakout. I'm not sure why. It's not showing the blue box or pattern recognition. Let's see, bring this up, see what happens. Well, we'll come back to that. Showing a cup getting close to a breakout. That'd be at 36.07. Early buy might be at 34.76. So this is the one we wanted to look at, FB blue chip growth. It says Microsoft, all the FANG, Facebook, Meta, Apple, Netflix, Google, and NVIDIA in here, and also Amazon. So this is another ETF you may want to put on your calendar. See what financials did today. Got a slight pullback. Got a double bottom here. Looks like we broke above the double bottom. We'll see if we can fill in this gap here. Got actually two gaps to fill. 80% of gaps fill, so they don't all have to fill. Energy got a bounce today. Look at oil prices. So they're up 2 days in a row. Communications got a slight pullback, 0.22%. Real estate continues to pull back after their two gap ups. So they filled the one gap. Now the question is, will it fill the other? Biotech got a bounce today. This one did not, got a slight pullback. Infrastructure needs to get across the 50-day moving average. That's not really wide enough to be a cup with a handle, but kind of an odd formation. It definitely is a double bottom. 31.13 is a breakout from a double bottom. Technology select. Got a pullback. It looks like it gapped down today. Down a little over 0.5%. Software remains strong. Amazing. And then we got our semiconductors. Got a slight pullback, 0.61%. Airlines trying to bottom. Leisure. Oh, got a nice bounce today. So it gapped up, held the gap, and it's bouncing today. Like to see it get above the 50-day moving average, but that looks something to follow up on. Industrials moving up to their 50-day moving average, or actually 200-day moving average. I apologize. Working on the double bottom here. Needs to get up to 104.02 for a breakout. Building supplies, just kind of hanging in there. We still need to fill this gap possibly, and this gap. Metals and mining still remains under all the moving averages, and we know nothing good happens down there. And finally, home builders. A little bit of a pullback in bond yields. Doing right, all right. See if we're building a little bit of a shelf pattern here. Got some pretty good volume here, some good volume here. This volume, it did come down quite a bit from the open. But that's a story there. See where financial money managers are moving their money today. In the software space, that was really pretty good. Monday, gapped up. Earnings came in at over 1,000%. It's kind of in the lower middle of its range for the day, which isn't totally positive, but it is up 10.5% on a 480% increase in volume and a 205% earnings surprise. That'll catch your attention. Let's look at the W. ServiceNow continues to grow in its base. The volume is retreating, so we'll have to see if there's a little bit of a pullback. Salesforce looks like it's building on the right side of the base. cleared the double bottom area, so it is in the buy area. HubSpot, competitor of Salesforce, having a little trouble under its moving averages. Earnings came in a little less than what people liked, even though it was 28% earnings surprise. Cadre Holdings, critical protection to those working in and around hazardous, life-threatening situations. Look at that. Earnings up 123%, earnings surprise of 40%, and look at that zoom up. Don't you wish you had it right over here? Had a nice tight formation. This is the first I've heard of this company. Clearwater Analytics, SaaS solutions for investment data aggregation. Had a little bit of a pullback after breaking out here. Moved up, pulled back a little bit here, moved higher, pulled back some more, and now it's breaking out again. Nice volume. 3 out of the last 5 days. Collegium Pharmaceuticals, 72% growth in 2023. Earnings up 22%, and it looks like we got a new high on the relative strength to the S&P line. Very interesting. Not showing a blue dot, but it definitely is a new high. 151% increase in volume. Informatica, AI-powered platform that offers data management software. It's moving up. Some good volume, good earnings, up 50%, 18% earnings surprise. Interdigital. And a little bit of a sell-off here, and now it's moving up. Huge volume, 81% earnings increase, 127% earnings surprise. We'll see if there's a little bit of a pullback here. Interdigital designs wireless modems and ICs used in notebook computers, PDAs, mobile handsets. Wow, it looked just like the other one. No, I guess I had moved on. I was a little bit ahead of myself. Duolingo, after the huge gap up, this is great news. As long as it holds the bottom of the gap in any consolidation, this should be a winner. Howmet Aerospace had a gap up over here on its earning, 28%. Pulled back, but did not go down below the gap up, and now is trending higher on pretty good volume. Let's just take a look at this relative strength line. Looks like today it just went into new high ground. All good signs. Let's look at AeroVironment, same area. This is in drones. Gapped up. This one actually pulled back below the gap and then gapped up again over here. And looks like it's forming a little bit of a cup with a handle on our pattern recognition. Ingersoll Rand, one of the oldies but a goodies. But look at this, earnings up 21%, 2023. EPS up 24%, 12% earnings surprise. Look at that relative strength line. Looks like it's on the cusp of breaking out. Finally, TRI. Thomson Reuters, another oldie. It's moving up. I'll just have to watch that relative strength. 34% earnings increase this year. Earnings up 41%, 15.9 earnings surprise. Now on the downside. B. Riley Financial. Earnings came in at terrible. Lost $2.53. It's down 14% today. This is not the trend you want unless you're buying puts or shorting the stock. Axis Financial, another financial company, 19%, 4% earnings surprise. Huge gap down here. Relative strength is just going in the dungeon. Tyson Foods went up to try to move up, hit its 50-day moving average and just fell from there. Earnings down 77%, even though it was an earnings surprise of 28%. Trade Desk, former leader, gapping down. Guess this could be in software. Earnings came in at 27%, 13.56 earnings surprise, but this isn't the hugest volume. Not on the red side that you want to see. Chart Industries have been leading for a long time. Highly engineered equipment used in product ion storage. Moving down. CRISPR, which was in the news. Huge sell-off. And it tried to bounce back. We'll see where this goes. Illumina, another biological stock, which is not trending very well. Gap down here. Huge volume. Looks like the largest volume since the base. Canadian Pacific, Kansas City, trending down, tried to come back up and then rolled over again. So this is good news, but the bad news is huge volume, positive volume, but we had stalling. It came up here and then it just fell right back down. That is not a good sign. 2 days in a row, kind of railroad tracks here, same low level. Then up here, what do we call this? Call that wedging. Wedging is when a stock goes up on low volume. You want to see a stock go up on a high volume. So wedging, what happens when stock wedges up? It just fails. It fails miserably. So that's our little educational and chart rating for today. Look at some of our issues we profiled in the last few weeks. Meta continues to be strong. Sit back over here. People kept buying it after it dipped below 300. They like that 300 level. Went up to 330 for attempted breakout, pull back. So it was a breakout here and a failed breakout, pull back. I guess the yields pushed it down and now it's back in the breakout area. It's not getting really the volume we would like, but Maybe the volume will come later. Microsoft, the other issue we really like in the big cap tech, it's up in, looks like a new high in relative strength. With all the money they put into AI, I think this is really positive. NVIDIA, earnings are in 8 days. Looks like it broke out on Friday, continued up today. 99 relative strength. Let's see where that relative strength is. It's not quite at a new high yet, but we did get the volume over here. So let's continue to watch that. And then Uber broke out last week. It's continuing up. Earnings came in at 116%. It's actually a negative earnings surprise, but they continue up. We'll just have to wait and see if this is wedging as the volume continues to drop. Because we can look over here, it's competitor Lyft. Their earnings came out at 250% up, earnings surprise of 66%, and it's just moving lower. Couldn't get above its 200-day moving average. And pretty good volume on the push down today. And then looking at CrowdStrike. Yeah, I bought the November call option and got scared out of it. This is just making me really upset. Don't really like this pattern. Sometimes you just got to buy the pattern, whether you like it or not, because the stock is so strong. So today, I went into the other one. When it had pulled back, bought the 175 December option. And hopefully I can hold on to this time and convert it. This looks like a little better pattern. Volume is so-so. See the relative strength line, I think is about ready to go into a new high. Looks like it, to me anyway, it's right above this red line. So that's positive there. 96, beating 96% of all the companies on the S&P 500. Keep going back to these biotechs, BLTE. What's that at? 98%, beating 98% of all the companies in the stock market. It's trending up. Got some pretty good volume compared to this volume over here. Earnings are due in actually today. See if I can find the pauses for a second. See if I can find that news. So I could not find any news, but I did notice that they have raised now the target BLTE from, I believe it was 46 to 51. So we'll keep a good eye on it. I did buy some more today. It wasn't that much. I think it was only like 20 or 50 shares. And then GLSI. Got that nice pattern here. Got our shelf pattern. See if we got any news here to make a quick check. no news there. So that wraps it up for our look at Mornings with Michael today. Mornings with Michael is brought to you for information and educational purposes only. Need to do your due diligence. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Happy to walk you through anything. And hope everybody has a great Taco Tuesday. Go out there and support your favorite taco truck. And we'll catch up with you later. Have a great day.